Hey everybody, welcome to the Late Late Horror Show! We got a Patreon request from John Kyle Stanton to do Night of the Comet, 1984.
1984.
Because cheerleaders are great. And so are post-apocalyptic movies. But anyways,
evidently cheerleaders will inherit the earth.
But anyways, this is for one of our patrons. I always get that mixed up, man. What the hell?
One of our P's.
John Kyle Stanton.
We did it for you.
This one's for you.
I had never seen Night of the Comet before.
And anybody who wants to be a patron and wants us to do a movie for you guys, make sure you let us know. Yep. Sign up, the links below for a Patreon for $1.
That's right.
You can have fun.
And we'll do your movie, your request.
Yeah. Anyways.
Won't guarantee that we'll like it, but we will do it.
Because Ted wasn't a fan of this one. But hey, this is 1984, Night of the Comet. Classic 80s kind of apocalyptic horror type thing. Not as cheesy as you would a lot of these other ones that we dig.
No, it takes itself very seriously, I think.
Yeah, but stars Robert Beltran, which is he plays Hector. No biggie.
He's a cholo.
He's a cholo.
He's a cholo.
Has Catherine Mary Stewart as Regina, and Mary Catherine Stewart also played in another movie that I gotta throw out there because it's a movie that I don't think a lot of people know of. Mischief, 1985.
Never saw that.
It's a romantic teen comedy. It's kind of like lost in a mix of all the other 80s movies like Breakfast Club, Back to the Future, all those teen angst movies. And, tough guy tries to get the nerdy guy laid, and he does a pretty good job at it himself. But
like I did for you.
True. Yeah. You helped out a little bit.
That's right.
So check out Mischief 1985 if you have not seen it. Let us know in the comments if you have. And it also stars Kelly Maroney as Samantha. And she also played in, and Ted will say it in a second because there was a couple of things.
Yeah.
Valley Girl, which is another great movie, and one of our classics, Chopping Mall.
Yep.
So, but
and I don't even remember her in Chopping Mall. All I remember is Barbara Crampton. But
true,
I don't remember her at all in Chopping Mall.
But
I remember Mary Warrenoff in Chopping Mall. What did she play? Audrey, the scientist.
Yeah.
She was in Chopping Mall in the beginning.
Right. So there's a couple little. It's nice.
But I know her mostly from Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones.
Yeah.
She's the principal.
It's nice how they all connect here.
Now that's a movie.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
But the Valley Girl, you caught a couple glimpses of some things in the movie.
I was watching the movie last night, and again, I said I never saw it before. I noticed in the movie theater, there's a Valley Girl poster. I'm like,
Valley
cool.
Girl's an 80s movie with Nicolas Cage and a bunch of other, like, teen,
And we did that.
Great movie.
But we did it on our...
movie.
I don't know, when we were toying with another channel.
The Dino and Ted show.
Yeah, so you could see us, if you like that movie, you could see us talk about it over there.
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Oh, no, I'm saying, yeah.
Send some traffic that away. I think everything should just fall under the Ted and Dino show, in my opinion, but then we could do everything. Yeah. But then I noticed when they're at the radio station, she's throwing records around, and she's got a copy of the soundtrack Valley Girl and tosses over her head. That's a very valuable LP now.
Oh yeah.
That's even back in the 80s. That was not it was kind of hard to find. Mm-hmm. And one thing I will say about Valley Girl, because it was the first time I watched it when you recommended it for the show.
Sure.
Is it's got some of the best. No, not some. It has the best music out of any movie I've ever watched.
Great music.
And I didn't even care for the movie that much. Yeah,
but I
bought both CD. There's 2 CD soundtracks.
Yeah.
And I bought both of them. One of them was out of print, cost me $30, and I bought them both because some of those songs are so good.
Yeah, you were saying how much you
new wave.
Not a fan of the movie too much, but the music was great.
And this movie tried to do that. I mean, there's a lot of poppy, but not the same quality as Valley Girl.
Same director?
Well, not exactly. Well, what I was going to say is, watching this movie, I got
same vibe.
And plus with what's her nuts, Kelly Maroney, who I recognized her from Valley Girl.
Yeah.
I'm watching this, going, man, this feels too much like Valley Girl. And I didn't know anything about it.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I looked up the director. Director
Nothing
didn't direct
wrong
it.
with that.
And I looked up the producers.
Yeah.
Both producers were the producers of Valley Girl.
Gotcha.
So I was like, see, there it is. I knew
Yeah, there was a
they were
connection.
plugging their movie.
Yeah, there's a connection.
They were plugging their movie.
I loved it. I mean, if one thing, I mean, it had a great.
But the music in this movie wasn't the caliber of music
no.
and Valley Girl. That was some cutting edge,
right.
really cool new wave stuff. This was just I
Yeah.
don't know, garbage pop.
But overall, this movie hits 80s big time. I mean, it's just encompasses that 80s time period, and I love it. But let's get to what the movie's about. Pretty much a comet.
Comet that hasn't
Big party going on.
been in the vicinity of Earth in
Starts
65 million years.
65 million years.
Which, maybe this is what happened to the dinosaurs.
Yeah. And they said something like the same day or some weird little sentence they said when I can't even remember, but it was weird.
Darkest depths of space.
Yeah, but
ooh. And Earth gets caught into the tail of the comet. And
poor Earth.
And yeah, people are partying, comet parties, whatever. And then we start meeting our characters. There's the girl, what's her name? Regina, Reg. They call her Reg.
Yeah. Reg.
She works at a movie theater. Her boyfriend, who was also in Valley Girl.
Yes. What was his name?
What's his nuts? You'll find him.
But Michael Bowen. Bowen.
He was.
He was in quite a few.
He was the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And the vying for the girls. Between him and Nicolas Cage.
Right.
And Valley Girl, recognize him right away. Yeah. He's the movie projectionist. And there's lots of little in-jokes, like with movies, not just the posters and things.
Right.
But some of the tricks they use, like anytime something bad's going to happen, there's like a red. And he's talking about a print of It Came From Outer Space, classic, 50s Universal.
And he's bootlegging it.
Yep, bootlegging it.
So
he's talking about getting a print of this.
But he's doing it. But.
Making illegal dupes of films. There's people do that.
But fun.
So, Reg comes up there and he offers her $15. Like,
well,
he's going to get some money for that movie, and he's like, "I'll cut you in."
They're spending the night there,
spend the night together,
and they're going to basically, have sex and stuff like that.
But they make sure to mention, that why it's so warm in here and everything is because it's steel.
Right.
It's a steel enclosed room. That's important.
It's important.
Don't know why, because steel ain't that big of a deal.
Well, there's issues with the movies, but nothing's perfect. This is a low-budget 80s movie, so,
Yeah, about 700 Gs and to make. And it's really highly rated on all these sites. A lot of people love it.
I love it.
Ted,
not so much, but
I watched it, and it's just like, it just was. It just...
You know what I love, Ted? Well, real quick, I guess.
I got a quote to sum it up, but I'll save it.
Okay, I guess to finish up, we can encompass the story pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. I mean, the big party's going on. Reg is in there. We find out that, and she's safe after the comet goes by because she's in a steel enclosure.
Wake up in the morning, everything's fine.
Her sister, I don't know why I can't keep Samantha. Ends up going to some steel
tool shed that you would have in the back.
Yeah, something steel, which makes no sense because air can get in anyways. But
I know.
Let's overlook it because later on, when I talk about the scientists who
they ain't no smarter
who leave the vents open, it's like.
But she gets into a fight with her stepmother. Yeah, they actually come to fisticuffs.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a great scene because she's 18. And her stepmother is telling her, what I say goes, and she better be home, at it right now, or you're in trouble, she's in trouble. And she slaps the girl, Samantha. And Samantha slaps her back.
Right on.
And then the stepmother goes like this.
Yeah, right.
Punch right in the face.
That's what a parent does, man.
Funniest scene. I swear to God, I cracked up. But basically, and she goes back
head over heels.
She basically goes out there and the neighbor, they're going to she's hanging out because her husband is away on Oh,
that's right. Paul's a good friend.
But anyways, father's away. Yeah, Samantha goes in her steel enclosure and she survives. So Samantha and Reg
They don't
kind of
they don't know that they survived anything yet.
Well, not right. I'm not giving a blow by blow on this flick, but I'm just saying overall that's kind of
You said blow.
blow by blow, but overall that's what happens, and now you got me all.
Well, because everybody else basically gets turned into mummy dust.
Right. They wake up the next day, and this is the one thing that I always remember from this movie, growing up through a child. I don't know why, Ted.
What?
But the clothes laying on the ground,
Yeah.
like, because everybody was disintegrated into like
Why are the clothes still
red,
there?
brown ash, and the clothes are like laid out kind of in the form of legs,
Right.
top, just like they fell right down and it's
Why
there.
didn't the clothes vaporize?
Right, exactly. But I always wondered about that, and always stuck in my head for Night of the Comet.
And did the animal? The animals went too, right? I mean, they don't show it, but you don't see it.
Yeah, they don't have clothes, but you don't see piles of. They did what they could, Ted.
I guess.
They couldn't put piles everywhere. Ant piles, mice piles, rats piles, dog piles, cat piles. But
And then okay, so the guy.
so that's what happens there,
what's his
and they
name?
wake up in the morning.
Reg's boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's ticked.
Larry.
Larry. He goes out of the steel enclosed room, and then basically he lasts another 0.3 seconds before some zombie-looking dude whacks him on the head with a wrench.
Yeah.
What's up with this? Why is he a zombie dude?
I guess some individuals, if some of the air or some of whatever got to them, even though they were kind of enclosed
They
enough.
were fully exposed?
Yeah, fully exposed. They were enclosed enough that, so it's kind of, once it's in your blood, I guess,
It'll
slowly.
eventually deteriorate you.
Yeah, because we'll find
But then
that out
there's some
a little
people
later,
that it
but-
doesn't happen to at all.
Yeah.
And they never really explain. Well, first of all, they never explain why people get vaporized. These scientists are so smart.
No.
They built a freaking bunker. They must have suspected something was going on.
there's
They
a
could
big-
have, let the audience know.
Big group of scientists have built this research facility bunker underground.
And who are they authorized by?
But I don't know. But
The president's not there. I mean,
but ended up finding out that they
it's
left.
like 6 guys.
They left the vents open during this thing, and it got in the vapors, whatever you want to call it.
So now they're exposed.
And they're slowly deteriorating and going kind of crazy and
over time, over the course of the film.
right over the course of
And
the
so
film.
they really, once they find out that there are survivors like Samantha and Reg, and they meet up with this cholo named Hector.
Cholo.
Hector.
He's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy. He survived because he spent the night in his truck cab.
Yeah, and it's sealed.
Sealed, evidently.
Yeah.
And, they realize they're still alive, and they're not zombies, so
Still alive.
maybe, I don't know, maybe they hold the clue to some kind of vaccine or
Yeah.
serum, or they don't
even
explain it, they do.
The one chick, even scientists, like Hector meets up with them at a radio station.
Yeah, because they hear the voice on
Samantha-
the radio. There's no kids outside playing, nobody's driving cars, nobody's around.
And it's just a real type thing that keeps computer thing.
When they
going
get to
back
the
and
radio
forth.
station, that's what they find. It's just a tape.
But Samantha flicks it on and starts talking and stuff, and that's when
Check.
the
one.
scientists find out that there's people at the radio station, kids, teenagers. Ooh, let's go get them.
Let's get them.
But that's where they're met up with Hector and
And can I ask you another thing?
Sure.
Oh, and you got to also notice that while this is all happening, the outside, the sky is turned orange. Really
Red.
interesting use of colors, primary colors. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
That was interesting. It later goes away. But, shooting in the city streets during times when there's no traffic, it looks realistic.
I was going to say, the one thing I love about these kind of movies of this time, a la Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that, where they're in the, the mall, and you have these these post-apocalyptic
Post-apocalypse.
movies.
Pokaloke.
It's hard for me to
That's a
speak
thing. That's a
sometimes.
Dinoism.
I got a big old... Okay, anyways. I love these kinds of movies because in my own head, I'm like going, even though I don't want the world to end, what a great fantasy it is to be able to run amok on the whole planet. A la I forget who did
It never happens.
Will Forte did the Last Man on Earth.
Yeah.
It was a TV series. I think only a Netflix series, which was kind of cool. But imagine going, Terminal Towers or
every horror fan's heading
Empire
to a
State
mall.
Building, the malls.
Every horror fan.
You just
We're gonna find some secret room that's loaded with supplies.
well, just being able to like make shit your own and I don't know. Visit
Well, that's sort of like
you
what the stock boys at the mall did when Hector goes off.
But I love that about
Yes.
these movies, the post-apocalyptic.
And that comes from Dawn of the Dead, man.
Yeah,
That started that whole thing. The consumerism, pointing the finger at all of us. But Hector, after they befriend him, he's like, man, I got to go check out my peeps in San Diego, man.
Yeah.
I got to go.
My mother's
But
there,
I'll be back, my moms and my pops. And,
Yeah.
my,
huh?
yeah, we got corn, we got to harvest.
We got maize there,
We got maize. And, man, my burrito stand.
we have barbecues the best. No?
Oh, God, we're going to get
Okay, yeah, come on.
So he's going to go check that out. While they do it, the girls decide, hey, we're bored here. Let's go to the fucking mall. And that's kind of, Oh, and by the way, these girls are because of their father, who was ex-military.
Yeah. They know what they're doing.
They can not only handle weapons and firearms and knives, they can. That's why it seems a little weird when she takes that hit and goes head over heels. They can fight.
They can, they can handle
somewhat the
themselves.
older one more than the younger one, of course. But yeah, they go to the mall and somehow they get their hands on some Uzis. I don't remember where they got those. I don't remember where they got those Uzis.
I don't know where they got it either, but yeah, they got maybe the
where-
mall. The
where did
mall.
they
There's
get
always
those
a
guns?
was always a gun store in the mall.
They
in the
show them like
80s.
riddling, cars and everything. And the first thing I thought of was Sam Jackson and Jackie Brown, like AK-47. When you absolutely, positively have to kill every motherfucker in the room except no substitutes.
Oh man,
when you have to kill everybody.
gotta love it.
That's what it reminded me of.
Oh my god.
But they go to the mall and they're trying on clothes and whatever. And then we find out there's some people
Stock
in the mall.
boys, yeah.
Slowly turning into zombies. They don't look zombie-fied at first,
No.
but as
They got
scene
sunglasses.
progresses,
They got sunglasses on, and you can see
and they're kind of weird.
dark eyes.
They're
and
kind of
stuff.
like the Nicolas Cage sort of type character from Valley Girl.
little
It's those
weirdos.
kinds of guys.
Yeah, weirdos.
With the really thin sunglasses and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they start going after them and all that, and this is when
They capture them.
This is when the scientists come afterwards and kill all those guys and break the two girls out. But we find out that the scientists have another ulterior motive for the girls and for the humans that are still alive.
Humans.
If they're not infected, they're able to, I guess, keep recirculating their blood so that they cannot die and become whatever these zombified
some sort
type
of mumbo
monsters
jumbo
are.
where they shut off their brain waves.
It's very complicated.
Yeah, it don't make any sense.
And they're
going
to constantly harvest their blood.
They
30,
even found
30
some kids that are
cc's
survivors. 2 little kids.
Yeah.
And
Which was weird.
for some reason, they take Reg in the chopper.
Yep.
And they leave Samantha behind, supposedly under the guise of waiting for Hector.
Yeah.
But it seems like she's already exposed. I don't know why they think the one's okay, but they don't want to bring the both. They don't explain this in the movie.
Nah.
And I don't know what's up with the female scientist being all depressed. So she realizes she's exposed before they even leave the compound to go get the girls, because she's trying to write and she's noticing that she's misspelling words.
She's losing her memory and she's
feeling things
regressing
deteriorate.
a lot faster.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's 2 scientists left behind, some weird nerdy guy and the chick from Rock and Roll High School. And what is she? She's making like she's gonna put the girl to death, put her down. She doesn't tell the girl this. She thinks she's just going to give her a little sedative that's going to...
Yeah, she's giving her a needle in the arm.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. You go ahead. Shoot me up with some shit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I wouldn't have let that happen.
Man.
Because she's like, oh, I'm fine.
Movie been over right there.
I get this rash, all the time. No problem. It's all okay. But, Yeah, you know.
It's not zombie rash. I swear to God, it's not zombie rash.
It's not zombie rash.
But anyway, I thought she actually killed her. Turns out it was just, something to knock her out. And then she kills the other scientist.
Sodium pentothal.
Yeah, and then shoots the other scientist. I don't know why.
She's not making no sense because
she's not making no sense.
She's infected.
And then she goes back to the radio station because they think that's where Hector's going to come back. So we should all converge there.
Yep.
He comes back dressed up like Santa Claus. Oh, and we got to remember when Hector does get back to his house, there's a little knock at the door. He opens it and there's some zombie kid. He closes the door, doesn't lock it,
right?
Just closes the door.
Yeah.
And he's got a gun, and he's sitting there fighting with the kid. Pop a cap in his ass.
Well, he said you had to be a kid. He just didn't want to shoot a kid, even if he was infected.
Pop a cap in his ass, man. He ain't a kid, he's a zombie.
That was... Yeah,
and what happens if you get bit by one of these things? Do you turn into one? I mean, are you just dead? Or are they eating the human flesh? Or they just want to kill you? Or do they want to eat you?
I don't know. At the beginning, they showed the one guy who knocked Larry over, in the head with the wrench. And he was behind a bunch of rubble. I guess his arm was off, so he must have been eating him.
Why do zombies always got to eat human flesh? I mean,
I don't know.
Hammer didn't do that.
Yeah. But getting through the movie here, I mean, pretty much
high speed.
We're at the research facility and
everybody... Oh, wait, she tells Hector, where the girls are, what happened, and then she just goes and shoots up a huge lethal dose of whatever and kills herself.
Oh, yeah.
So Hector knows where they are. They know they're at that military base because they were talking about it earlier in the film.
Right.
And for some reason, he feels the need to get a El Camino and a cowboy hat and everything and go dressed up like, Buck Owens. Before he goes out there. I don't understand.
It was strange dressing in a cowboy outfit. It really was.
Yes.
I don't know. It was quite odd. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to try to get there to save Reg. Because they're going to...
We'd never have a girl called Reggie. Oh, and...
For sure.
So he worms his way in there, gets past the security guard.
Right.
Because he's got Samantha in the trunk because she came too. And he knew she was alive.
Yawning.
So, yeah, they bump off the security guard. There's only one security guard. And he's outside patrolling and getting infected. No gas mask or spacesuit or anything. He's just out there walking around in a hat.
Well, I don't think they're still getting infected for being outside.
Well, it certainly can't be slowing the process down. I'm sure the more you're exposed, the more you'll...
Because it's not in the air no more. I think once it went by and hit, that was it.
Well, they didn't explain that.
They didn't explain quite.
I mean, if that's the case, then why are they all living underground? I mean, why don't they all just hide in steel sheds instead of building this whole underground bunker?
That's true.
And who paid for that?
That's true.
Who is this group?
And it was it for the actual meteor?
It didn't say anything about government. Comet. They're just doctors. Who paid for this?
Did they know,
how did this get built?
They know years in advance that this comet was coming?
Yeah, there's no soldiers, no generals.
And it was going to leave the dust. Shit!
So, I mean, that's not...
Sorry about the dog.
That's completely BS of how it would be in real life.
Yeah.
There would be soldiers, military presence.
Right.
The president would be there. I mean, or maybe there's another base. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. They got some weird insignia. They all wear the gray jumpsuits like they're from the future. Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah. Oh, but Jeffrey, what's his name? Jeffrey Lewis. He's one of those guys. He's been in tons of movies.
Oh, well, he's been...
He just phones it in
70s, 80s, 90s. He was in every...
Hell, he was in Devil's Rejects.
He was in every TV series you could possibly imagine.
Salem's Lot
too.
He was in there.
Yeah.
Classic character actor.
One of the
it was a shame he wasn't given much to do in this.
One of the rare shows the dog won't stop barking. Well, he finally did. Oh, well. He didn't have a whole lot to do in this. He was very straight.
Yeah.
He played the character straight.
The whole film is played straight. I mean, I didn't even find... when I was watching, I'm like... Gosh, I can't even really find anything to riff on or make fun of.
Well, right.
Because they're playing it like...
It wasn't
so serious.
It wasn't so cheesy. And that's where I think me and you, we're always looking for the cheesiness in movies. Like I still
something
enjoyed,
to lighten it up a little bit.
I still enjoyed Night of the Comet, but yeah, it's not our usual cheesy. We can riff and laugh on this and that and this and that. But
nothing.
But well, getting all the way to let's just jump to the end because
Reg goes off on her own. She's being held by these guys, wanting to know why. Why am I even here?
Yeah.
Ends up being able to slip away from the scientists. Saves those 2 kids.
Yeah.
Because they were about to get gassed or something, so they could experiment on them, do the same thing like they're doing with those other bodies.
Right.
She puts the kibosh on those bodies.
They gave them sodium pentothal and made them. They're just laughing. And
Like
or
laughing gas. And
like,
you do start to see
the
some of the signs, especially the Jeffrey Lewis character, him starting to become more sunken-eyed and more zombified.
Yeah.
Mr. Hector, he sets up a couple of explosives on a Jeep that creates a distraction, enough for them to get out.
Yeah.
The whole place goes kablooey. The scientists, they're all done for. And I guess the world now belongs to this little handful of people. And, I don't know, it seems like Reg and Hector get together. Seems like they're adopting these 2 kids. They're all wearing nice suits. Actually, Hector looks like he's out of like the 20s or something like that. He's got that suit on.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had spats on, that'd have been perfect.
Yeah. No, the very ending, once they, all saved and stuff, and they're,
almost looks like they're coming out of City Hall, like they got married.
Yeah,
that's what I took it as.
Actually, that very ending, like that, was I think it was a very, very cool scene. I mean, him and Reg,
the whole crosswalk thing, man.
They're like a family, and they're trying to do the law thing. It's red light, don't cross. But Samantha's across the street, and then out of the clear
she
blue,
just comes out. Why? There's no one here. Yeah. We're the last people here.
And that's when a car comes pulling up, and stops right in front of her. And
I can't remember the guy's name, but he's kind of like she thinks he's cute. He thinks she's cute. Hey, you want to go for a ride? Oh, I like this car. Yeah, I got 23 of them. I mean, this guy just...
I got 23 other ones.
Clear effing blue just shows up. And then as they're driving away, because they're going to go off on a little romantic cruise they just met, I guess.
Yeah.
We see the license plate.
Yeah.
What is it? DMK. And that finally solves a mystery from the beginning of the film when Reg is playing this video. She's obsessed with this video game. I forgot the name of it. Tempest.
Oh, that's right.
Tempest.
How did I miss that?
And she has like all the top 10 scores.
Son of a bitch.
The highest scores, except for
number 6.
And it's this guy named DKM or DMK or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Who is this guy? Who is the And she ends up beating him. But you never find out who that is until the end.
With the
and then that little joke gets answered.
Yeah, that's a little Easter egg thing there. Yeah.
Sort of, I guess.
Yeah.
But before we finish,
how very cool.
I actually, when I was reading up, trying to find some interesting stuff about the movie, there wasn't any interesting stuff about the movie.
That came by?
No. But Mary Warrenoff, who played Audrey in the film The Scientist, there was a quote by her on here. And after I read it, I said, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about this movie.
Okay.
It says here, and this is on IMDb, hopefully it's accurate. I don't know if this is still her feelings now, all these years later.
Okay.
But at one point, it says, Mary Warrenoff initially doubted the film would have any longevity, saying a couple years later in 1986 that it is not a cult movie at all, it is a fad movie. She went on to explain that the film will date very quickly because it's about Valley girls, shopping at the mall, and the bomb. It's not ahead of its time, and it's not behind its time. It's just a combination of elements. And that's how I kind of felt. It's like there was nothing really... It's not a bad movie. It's for what it cost. It's well put together.
I think that quote's totally wrong. She just didn't know what the future held for the 80s decade period.
Maybe, but that's kind of just how I feel about it. It's just there's nothing there's nothing in this film to me.
I think if anything
that makes it stick out from other movies. Valley Girl's got that kick-ass soundtrack.
No, right.
Breakfast Club's got
nevertheless,
great writing.
Nevertheless,
what makes this 80s movie stick out any more than any others?
Nevertheless,
I don't think so.
Her quote, what she's saying, has nothing to do...
Well, it was 2 years after the movie came out.
No. Well, she's in the 80s. She's telling this in the 80s, so...
Might not be how she feels now.
Yeah, eventually, a lot of these 80s movies, cheesy or not so cheesy, and this movie has a big 80s vibe, no matter what you say. I mean, it's got to...
Oh, it does.
There's a cult status because of it being an okay movie and it being done in the 80s, and it has all the iconic 80s things that you would see in the 80s.
So,
all of those things make it a cult movie.
I just don't know what
And it
what
stands
makes,
the
what
test
makes
of time.
I don't know if it stands the test of time. You gonna watch this movie again?
You ask a bunch of people. No, it's
You're not gonna watch this movie
It's not
again.
up there, Ted, as a movie that I'm going to
Damn right. It's
pop
not.
in all the time.
Damn right.
But
Did you like Night Beast better?
did I like Night Beast better?
Night Beast. You liked Night Beast better, didn't you?
I think I liked Night of the Comet better.
Blasphemy. There's only one night, and that is Night Beast.
And I kill in the day.
I mean, it's a serviceable movie, but I mean, I knew
You've
going
never seen
in,
it before,
I had never
so,
seen it before, and going in, I knew that it was rated pretty high. It's got a special collector's edition Blu-ray, blah blah
People
blah.
love it, man.
And I watched it, and I said, "This is rated a pretty high movie." Like 77%, likes or whatever. And I said, "What is there something wrong with me?" And after watching it, I said, "No, there's nothing wrong with me. There's just something wrong with everybody else." And there are cases where that is true, and this is one of them.
Different tastes.
But see, my taste is so good and so diverse that if I don't like it, it's no good.
And that's our Patreon request for John Carl Stanton.
Widowmaker rules!